What's good? It's your boy B to the A to the R, New York's finest. I'm back in the building with an all-new episode of Locked In. Yo, I know I say it every week, but every week it gets crazier and crazier. My guest tonight, when I tell you this is going to get insane, yo, he is an actor, he is a producer, he is an all-around talent, singer, you name it, he does it, and he does it with a level of excellence. So, Locked In, I want y'all to show some love to my boy, zarr Coleman. What's good?
Appreciate that intro, brother. What's going on?
Thank you so much for stopping by such humble beginnings.
I ain't nothing humble about being out there, brother. You got it rocking.
I appreciate you. So there is so much that I want to talk to you about. Let's just start from the beginning. Tell us where you're from.
Where I'm from the DMV, Virginia, actually, South Boston, Virginia. So I've been in the DMV all my life. Yep, been here.
Okay. Shout out to the DMV. What's up, everybody? I actually used to live in the DMV some years ago in the northwest section of DC, so know the area well. All right, so tell us about your upbringing. Because I definitely want to get into how you got into what you do, but tell us about how you grew up, siblings. Give us the smoke.
What's the smoke? Let's see here. Grew up, so I got, come from a family of 5, well, sisters and brothers. We grew up in the northeast area of DC also. Just, doing what we do, getting on one another's nerve. But for me, I've always been in, I started off as a little kid in doing cartoons. So I was always in some kind of, and I moved into like the piano. And, I was bullied a little bit, so I had to buff up a little bit and build my muscles and all. So I got into bodybuilding at like age 15. And just kind of like in and out of different stage sets, whether it be modeling or whatever it be. But family's always been supportive. That's my biggest support group. And they still support me to today. That's kind of
Excellent. That's what's up. So you started off drawing.
Yeah. Hey, you know what I used to do? So, back in the comic book days, I used to collect comic books. So what I used to do, I didn't always have drawing paper. So I used to trade in comic books for extra drawing paper, just so I can create my own comics. I would draw what I was seeing, and I'd gotten so good that I could draw, I can do self-portraits or whatever just by visualization. I didn't even have to see anybody. So, that was my thing. That was kind of like my little escape in a sense. Okay,
that's what's up. Obviously, I big you up when I can't even color in the line. So, that's not my calling. So so then you started bodybuilding. You was a little dude, huh?
Yeah, I was a little tiny fella. As a matter of fact, I think my nickname was Mouse.
I'm done.
It was Mouse because, Mouse, man, I was a little tiny guy. But, let's see, I was, I kind of got picked on a little bit, but it wasn't so much being afraid of anybody. I just was to myself all the time. So I kind of got tired of that a little bit, and I had to kind of switch the roles a little bit. Got a little muscle, got a lot of martial arts, and took care of that little issue. And then just kind of remained.
Come on, yeah.
Yeah, so after I dealt with the folks that was creating a little bit of grief, I just kind of focused back into what I was doing and got into like amateur bodybuilding competition and stuff.
Okay. So then the whole entertainment bug took you. So you said what was next, modeling?
From bodybuilding opened up doors for fashion shows, and doing little skits, like they may want to do like a Miami Vice type skit or something like that. So I enjoyed all those things. And, I was probably no more than 220, 230, but I was still well defined. So it worked out. From there, I kind of got out of it for a while. And probably about when I was in my 20s, I got into singing, right? So I've kind of been all over the place. But I got into singing.
Okay. So let's stop right there. Let's discuss
I know that's your
singing.
thing, right?
You know, this is what I do. You know what I mean? So did you always sing and run in the family? Is it something you just felt like you wanted to do? Talk to me about that. I find this always interesting when it comes to the music.
So my mom's always been the singer of the family. You know, she would do it in church. She sung in different groups, and she would go around performing herself. But you know, for me, wasn't like I was trying to be a singer, but I got into like ministry, right? And I was trying to. My thing, even with what I do today, has always been to find another way to reach out. Because I wasn't necessarily the person to be behind a pulpit, but it was other ways.
Okay.
Right. So I'm singing it, you know, just doing my little congregational singing it with everybody else in a big church, and I had these old ladies that were sitting in front of me, turn around and say, "Young man, you have a great voice. You should join the choir." Right? And the choir is like 200 strong, so I was like, "Hey, that's safe. Nobody gonna hear me anyhow." And it kind of got me out of that little stage where I was kind of like somewhat of an introvert, right? So I got up on there and I'm with 200 strong, and I'm singing my head off. After a while, some joker got the wise idea to tell me to do a solo. So I started doing some of the songs and some of the solos and some of the holiday events, right? Still had 200 strong, but the problem was 199 of them were like behind me. And I was being pushed to the front. So I said, all right, I'm not sure what's going on with this, but I'll roll with it. You know, I wasn't really afraid at all as far as that was concerned. To me, I was singing in the car anyhow. I just had a bigger audience. So from there, I actually started, I guess, getting familiar. People started getting familiar with what I was doing. And I had gotten a lot of invitations to go to different churches to sing. So from there, back in 92, just at the beginning of the Gulf War, one of those. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 92, I'm on a plane headed to Moscow. Moscow to do what? To sing. To sing.
Wow.
So that was an experience by itself there, brother, because there was nobody else there like us there.
I can believe that.
And then, tell you what.
So clearly you, because I tell folks, you know what I'm saying, if you can survive in the church, you know, with your gifts, and, you know, they embrace you, you got something. Because the church, listen, they'll let you know, baby, that ain't what you should be doing. Sit on down somewhere. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So clearly, you had something and have something.
But no, it was more to develop my own little style, and really trying to make sure that I was doing something that was what I was supposed to be doing. You know, and like I said, I was still searching, right? But so I took that, and that was my idea of what I was supposed to be doing, you know, as far as ministry. Got married, you know, that changes things. It changes things.
That's what they tell me.
But trust me, brother, trust and believe. You see this? It's blatant now. But trust and believe. Things shift a little bit, the interest shift, you got people you gotta be responsible for. So it shifted a little bit. I was still doing it, but it was more so at the church that I was attending. So from there, I think from doing the Easter, Christmas events, as far as acting and that kind of thing, and being on stage, I kind of got a little interested in being on stage, doing other stuff, right? So I don't go too far, but that's where the singing came from. But I still sing. It's just
gotcha. So after the singing. So now, the stage.
All right, so now, Here's the funny thing. Now, I was going to let you know on a secret, but I think I keep that to myself. Keep that under wraps. So, some things you got to keep to.
Come on, tell it. Tell it.
I'm not telling that, brother. Okay, I'm going to tell this one. This is my little secret. All right, so now, remember I told you I started off in comic books, right? Right. So, got into bodybuilding. I was trying to come up with this heroic type name, right? And I came up with one, right? Ka-Zar, right? Originally it was Antonio. It's Ka-Zar.
Okay.
All right. So I get into acting and I use that again. It occurred to me, and I ran across some folks that I was working with. The guy said, it used to be a comic book called Ka-Zar the Great. And I'm thinking to myself, hell, I thought I was original. So somewhere in subconsciously, it stayed there, brother. Yep. But
that's what's up.
That's what's up. But it's working. But from what happened was, after, I stayed married for about 15 years. So some things happened and didn't work out. So after spending 15 years open with the family and trying to do all the family things, you tend not to focus on yourself. So now it was a matter of reinventing or finding out who was this guy Ka-Zar. So I was looking for something to do, to keep myself focused and re-engaged in different things. So I saw an ad for background actors, right, for a movie.
Okay.
I said, that'd be kind of cool. Well, I'd be interested in finding out how things come together as far as that's concerned. Didn't realize how long you had to stand waiting to get on set. But I did that for about a year, 2 years. And I said, okay, I'm doing all these movies and I can barely see myself. And I was wanting more movies and speaking roles. And I was noticing that because I had no speaking roles on my resume, I wasn't getting those speaking roles. So I started pushing and learning, start educating myself about the process, the craft itself. So I spent probably about 3 or 4 years just going and doing the training and getting out there and taking chances. I didn't do the stage. The stage is how I started. I always got typecast for a cop, so I was easily able to play that role. But I was still on stage, and it was showing me, how everything worked out with that. It took me a minute to transition from stage to film, because stage is different. There's a lot of emphasis on what you're doing as far as you speaking and that kind of thing. Film is expressions, timing, that kind of thing. So I did other folks' productions. I did probably between videos, commercials, feature films, probably well over 50, right? And what I was finding is some of the folks that were doing the productions, they were all doing the same thing. It was all the same thing, gangbangers. And I'm like, that's cool, but there's more to us. And I said, what about Steven Spielberg? I said, let's be a little more creative. I think we can go beyond that. So I wasn't seeing that, and then some productions weren't really pushing the quality, right, as far as to what they were putting out there. So I said, all right, so let me educate myself. So and I continue to educate myself. So I started going in there looking into the different roles behind the scene. I was producing stuff and directing. Didn't know how to operate a camera. That was technical. I'm a technical person.
Wait a minute. Let me stop you, because before you go there, one of the things I do want you to elaborate on a little more in depth is you talked about being in the background and all these stuff and not getting seen, getting a paycheck though. However, what would you say to somebody right now who's working in background, getting these features and stuff like that, what would you say to them? Because I know for me, it had to be it was a breaking point, and with all the features I was getting, I had to stop doing it, and because they're gonna. But you talk to us about it.
All right, so brother, I can talk forever on this subject. I think if you haven't had the experience, if you don't have the experience, you want to learn the business, you do background. And I know it may be House of Cards, it may be some big shows. That's cool if you can be a featured extra. A lot of times you're not going to be seen, and but it's still you're getting in front. You're taking chances. You're learning the process. At some point, maybe two years, 3 years, if you're doing enough of them, you need to kind of stop that because you're lessening your value of being considered. Listen, if you come to me and you say, I want to audition, I want to be considered for this lead role, and all you got is background work and maybe a couple of feature roles, I don't have anything to compare it with, right?
Exactly.
I don't have that. So you got to take chances. Some people are comfortable in the back. I know a guy that has like over 100 credits as a background actor, and that's all he does. And that's cool. That's what he wants to do. But here's the thing, and this goes for background feature extras. This goes for lead actors. You have to, if you are serious and you want to make it a career, you have to treat this like a business.
Gotcha.
You have to treat yourself as an actor like a business. That is your brand, right? There's two sides to this business. You got the business side and you got that creative side. And the only people, they only focus on this creative side. I'm gonna learn how to be an actor. I'm gonna be Denzel Washington. Yeah, what about credits? What about marketing yourself? So you have all those elements that they don't focus on, right? And thing is, so there's a lot to it. It's a lot to it.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
One of the things here in New York I've seen is that folks work so hard to get them waivers to become SAG, to become union.
Yeah.
What is your take on that? And I'll just say this. I've been SAG eligible for years, for at least 2.5 years, 3 years. However, I have not joined because one of the things in my interactions with people, I meet people that have been doing background and that are SAG. I've been doing this for 15 years. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for 17 years. And as far as they get is doing standing, you know? So for me, on the outside looking in and weighing this, it's like, I've never seen somebody, join SAG and get to the next level. They get like to the glass ceiling and that's that. Talk to me about that.
So it works two ways. It's a positive and it's a negative on both sides. Young actors, so actors that's been in the business for a minute, they consider reaching SAG level being professional. If you're getting a paycheck for acting and you're doing a lot of it, you are professional.
Come on.
You're professional.
I'll drink to that.
It's not voluntary. Granted, SAG opens doors for other resources. And you got, so one of the big things is the pension. There's a pension, there's a retirement pension associated with SAG. So some folks do that for other reasons. But that's not the end at all, because some people do. All right, so I know some young actors that just got into it maybe less than a year, and they trying to join SAG because then they can arrive. I'm like, okay, you have hundreds, thousands of SAG actors that's been in the business for a minute, and people know them, and they have it on their resume.
That's right.
It reflects what they've done. You don't have that, so you can be SAG, you can be a SAG actor and no experience. And when you come to people and they can look at your IMDb, they don't have anything to mark because you don't have that market value. Why are they going to bring you over this other person that has years of experience? And it also depends on where you're located. If all the productions in your area is non-union, you SAG, There's some flags, you can penalize, right? Because there's certain things you can't do. Some people do it. There's some ways to do it with a certain amount of SAG actors and non-union actors. But a lot of them, what happens, they're a pro. I do know some SAG actors that does a lot of commercials, right? And they'll do high-paying commercials. So that works for them. But when you're talking about big movies, you got to be in different locations, right? And you got to be growing. You got to put yourself out there. So,
gotcha.
Pros and cons. If I want to produce a movie that's SAG, I have to do the signature thing, and that's fine too. But then I'm obligated with some other things because then they're my employees. You got workers' compensation. You got to have a payroll company. So it's a lot to that transition.
A whole lot. A whole. Wow. Yeah, that's. Say it again.
I said you got to be in the stand, and otherwise, don't get in it just so people can recognize you and you can create your social media.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's really big, and that's definitely, I think, will be helpful to a lot of young actors in this game listening to us on here right now, because that's definitely major, and it's definitely a conflict. And one of the other things that I have a problem with, and I'll just put this out there, I believe especially it causes so much division. It does. So much unnecessary division, and we already dealing with divisions in this society, in this nation, and then the tension sometimes that they create with this whole union, non-union, union you eat here, non-union you're not eating. Oh, it's just foolery. You dig what I'm saying? Just unadulterated.
I get what you're saying. When you think of some productions where if you say you got a room that you're hanging out in, if you're not, you might be down the street waiting, in the holding cell for a while. It might be cold. Versus SAG might have a heated place. So you got some perks one way or the other, but it all depends on where you want to take it. I don't think that's
exactly.
So there's a lot of people that's doing a lot of work, but I know people like Clifton Powell. He worked his butt off. But that's for retirement points. And you got to love it. And folks, some people get into it to be a celebrity. To be famous. And you talk to some of the famous actors, and their thing is, if you're working, you need to get into it just so you can be a working actor, right? If you're a working actor, who cares about all the other stuff can come and follow along with that.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree 1,000,000%. But yeah, so now you've transitioned from acting to producing.
Brother, I still act too. What I don't, so what happens is you get a lot of producers that transition and make the movies, and they always star in the movies. They always want to be the star in their own movies, and that's cool. You do what you gotta do. But
I'm laughing because we see it so much. Not just in acting and music. Everybody would get on Diddy, because everybody on Bad Boy Records, he's on their record screaming and he's in the video, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we see it across the, shout out to Diddy, I ain't mad at you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
I guess the concept is if you can't land the role, create your own role, star in your role. But there's a thing called market value. If you don't have it, you don't want to be the person that's selling this movie, that's carrying the weight to sell this movie. If you want to sell the movie, you want to be there. So, but transition.
You preaching. You preaching. Come on here. What's your cash app? I'm going to have to send you an offering because you bringing it.
But nah, man, I after a while, I started to, something clicked, So a lot of us, we all have two sides of the brain. We got the creative side, we have the analytical side. When that creative side turned on, full blast, man, storylines start coming out, and then things that you just learn over years. So I got the pleasure of writing, right, and writing some of the movies. So I get people that bring scripts to me or books to me, say transition. So that's lessons by itself. So I have to learn that. I learned it by working behind the scene for other people too. Now I didn't just now I'm gonna produce. Because I see actors that work as an actor for like years say, "Oh, time to produce." Like,
yeah,
that's cool. I hope you know all the process, and a lot of them don't. And there's a heck of a lot to it. Like I said, but it's actually more focused on the business side. But for me, got into writing, directing, producing. Producing just means that you're paying for it.
yeah, okay.
Paying for it, but then we tie all of it together into what we call a filmmaker. But they all have unique roles. You got your cinematographer that Joker is like, he needs to tell the story through his lens. So you have to have that skill set to understand lighting, audio, the whole 9 yards. But so I started producing probably in 2010. Yep, been producing since. I do act in them. Sometimes I'll have myself as a guest star because I got my own credentials to carry the weight with it, so I got some market value, but I wouldn't put myself in there if I didn't have it. But also, the people that's starring in the movies, they're the ones that's going to push it. Now, I've had people acting from LA, New York. I've had some of the out of towners are a little challenging. They're special.
Why would you ever say that?
Brother, I ain't going there. I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
We can go there. This is locked in. This is what we do. We go there. You understand what I'm saying?
I had some money from LA, and she hadn't been doing too much work, right? But she was cast and she did a great job for the film. But when she would come down, brother, just to kind of make things work out, sometimes I would go pick them up myself, just to keep the other folks at the set setting things up. Man, this young lady thought I was an Uber driver. Sometimes you gotta not make yourself too available to some folks, to be treated with a certain respect.
And you know what? Thank you for that. That's confirmation from me. I received that.
It happens, brother. And I've had some folks that they act their butt off. Once they're set, it's all worth it, man. But you got to deal with some proven out attitudes. But a lot of times that's anyone there's a lot of people that's in the lead role, unless they approach it from a humble standpoint. But a lot of them, that's their first role, and they know it's all about them. So they hold it that way. They carry it that way. They can be difficult to work with. But I gotta tell you.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Is some of that needed? I mean, the reason why I ask is because I'm not saying to the extreme. I know for me, a lot of times my personality is, I'm a pleaser. I like, certain things. I'll go above and beyond.
From a producer standpoint, I don't want to handhold anyone. But here's the problem and I know a lot of them. There's a problem that a lot of producers face versus actors. Producers that never been an actor don't have a clue what actors go through. So they have a hard time relating, All they want is you show them a set, I expect you to know your script and you go for it. You do what you do and I do what I do. There's a lot more to it than that. Sometimes you need to have that understanding. Me being an actor first, I know some of the challenges. You have to pull some things out of folks that they can't get themselves. Or me as a producer or a writer, I know what I've written, but sometimes I need to see it and see something different. And you as an actor, if you show me something that is your interpretation of that role, which is what it is, I might like it better than what I thought. And I'll shift it around and stick with it, right? But you as that actor gotta take it with a grain of salt if I say no. There's a reason, because there's a bigger picture than just your role. There's your role and everybody else's role. And a lot of actors, all they do is study their lines. They don't read the entire script to understand the entire story.
Right.
Once you do that, you get a better understanding of how to develop your character, right? It branches you out further. So I think you add more value to it as you are teachable. Not saying that you don't come with your experience, but be available to help other folks that's on set that's struggling with getting into a certain character. And sometimes those as directors, we just can't explain it to some folks because it's like a little blockage sometimes. So
right.
Another actor can say, we'll think of it this way, or try this, and it worked. So us as producers, you got to be able to step back. The beauty with writing my own stories is I can change them, right? And I have some people that be holding me to the fire. That's not what it says come to do anyway. So I'm like, well, guess what?
They will do that. They will do that.
So, but as long as the story is solid, just like the one Zeke that I'm working on, it's taking a couple of changes, different directions. The overall direction is the same, but the storyline, here's the thing, some people that came in as featured extras, we built storylines around them because they brought it in such a way. So they got their own little individual story going on. Right, so just got to be flexible, man. Got to be.
So you were just working, just finished up a project or get ready to finish up on a project?
So Zeke was like 90% done, and then Corona stepped in. Oh my God!
Coronavirus.
Oh my God! Zeke the Awakening is a apocalyptic type movie, right? And it's to me it's historical in our area because it's never been produced in our area. End time events type movie. So we got like planes falling out of the sky, all kinds of stuff. Special effects.
I wasn't in this though.
He's fire, man. But we had all of that, and we were down to like probably 3 or 4 scenes left, and they shut everything down. We've been shut down as far as they're beginning to open things up now, but like there's one mass scene where we're going to have like hundreds of people running through the street. You just can't do that. So I have to change up some things. I mean, I don't want to do it because I don't want to be a part of it.
Exactly. I can dig it.
But what I've done is taken the time to shift over to post-production and been editing. I've been editing. I got like probably 15 more minutes left in the movie. So we're still on track.
Okay. So I know that in working on this project, you worked on it with a mutual friend.
Who's that?
One of the famous beans, not the pinto bean, not the lima, but Margaret P. Bean.
Margaret P. Beans. So Margaret P. Beans hit me up when I was getting set up at Fairfax Public Access Television Station. And she was interested in being a producer there. I wanted to kind of know the ropes, learn the ropes to get her own show started. So I had to, and the training. Even though I've been doing all these movies, I still had to go through training to learn television production.
Oh.
Totally different, right? So I had to learn equipment and all that stuff too. And I did, and because when I went in there, I went in there as a guest for someone else's show, but everything was so dynamite, and one of the things we struggle with is locations. And this was all set up, so I was like, I knew by the time I finished that interview that I was going to start as a producer there. It was just a matter of going through the process of doing it. So I learned that Margaret joined. She joined up. She went through and learned how to do her own shows. From there, to try to, what I do is I bring some of the people from my crew, my television crew. I invited them to be a part of the production to learn film production, behind the scenes production. As far as assistant director, production assistants, whatever. I wanted them to try to get. They always come in and say, "Hey, I want to do the director." Like, you ain't directed it yet, so you need to learn the do your walk first. So she came. I knew she already had experience from directing her own stuff, but before I brought her into that, I brought her on as a guest on my show. So I knew she was learning the process as far as the television show. But she was doing this this event called Boss Woman Making Power Moves.
Gotcha.
So I brought in some of her folks in, and we talked about it and laughed and joked. It was a great episode, one of my favorites. So from that, we kept in contact. Tried to. But she's just a great person. But I tried to be like a mentor. Or this sounding board. And from there, when I went to do Zeke is more of a major film. It's the biggest film that I've done, that I'm doing. And I needed more people that I can kind of depend on. And that's some people that I can bring in and depend on, but also teach them different things that's going on behind the scenes to watch it. Right. And she was one of them. She came in, she was there for casting. She met up with one of my sisters who's a production manager. Everything just clicked, the ladies clicked, and she got on set. She saw the mayhem and what was going on. There's a lot going on, right? But she's been there, man. She's like my little ace in the hole.
Okay. All right, so we're going to get a little personal.
Go ahead, brother.
Huh?
Go ahead. This is sloppy, right?
so no, I mean, acquiring minds want to know. So, I mean, y'all met, had this rapport, whatever case may be. You know what I mean? Y'all started working together. I mean, and you was single, she's single, so there was never no love connection, no. Give us a smoke. Talk to me. Come on.
No, you didn't go there.
Give it to me.
You know the funny thing is, no. I think she's a great lady, but there's like a mutual respect. One of the things on her show that with Boss Women Making Power Moves, I had addressed one of the questions, and a lot of times with us guys, when we see like boss women or women in positions, higher positions or ranking positions or whatever, some guys are threatened by that. So one of the questions I posted, so I asked questions, how do you handle that? How do you handle guys that may not necessarily be like an executive type person, that don't know how to, don't know what your expectations are, right? So we kind of went through that little skit. That they were all laughing about that. But no, as far as the industry, I've dated in the industry. Some of it worked, some of it didn't work. Sometimes in the industry, you don't know if they're interested in you versus what you can do for them. So I've kind of decided to, I want someone who understands and who can support. I've had, I had an agent of mine. I'm giving you an example. An agent of mine that set up this big movie project for me to audition for. And I had someone ride with me up there, right? And I get up there and audition, right, for my agent set up, doing well. And walking back to the car, the friend one that was waiting, she's on the way in there with her resume. And, not necessarily a bad thing, but brother.
Oh, trust me, I understand. Trust me, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Trust me when I say I got some stories of my own.
Ooh, brother, and the red carpet thing, I don't even want to go there. I don't know. Things will work out the way it needs to work out when it works out. But until that point, I just keep pushing. I'm pretty busy, and yeah, you want someone in your life, but you don't want someone to come into your life and try to start taking away from what you've developed, because they don't understand.
Exactly.
Or they just they got a little. They don't. One of the things is, at a certain point after you're 40, before 40, but mainly after 40, that's a place where a lot of folks are beginning to try to figure out, am I where I need to be? Or, oh hell, I'm not where I need to be, right? And it's not midlife crisis, but it's a pivotal point, right? 45. Some folks, if they don't have something that they're passionate about, and they're pushing toward that, and they see someone else in their relationship that's doing that, they don't know how to relate to that. So they kind of tend to create strife a little bit. So for me, I got to have someone who's already got their own stuff, who's building it, who understands, who can support it to come together. And you just make them a major thing.
Exactly. So trust me, I get it. It's.
I am single, so if y'all young ladies can bring that to me, let's talk.
You heard it here. You heard on Locked In. I'm done. Who are some of the individuals in the industry that have inspired you, or have paved the way for you?
Paved the way for me. There's a number of folks that's paved the way just for us as African Americans, in this industry, more so from the producer or director standpoint. Even in SAG, there's a struggle that that equality thing. You can act your butt off in my movie, just don't be on the back, production team, but don't be the one.
Exactly.
So there's been some gentlemen that's done stuff like Django, some people like Denzel that's produced his own things. Those are folks, Morgan Freeman, the big guys, the ones. Those are the ones that are consistent. I may not necessarily want to do what they're doing, but they're consistent, and they also reinvent themselves. They're always changing, right? So that's, those are folks that inspired me. Some people locally, I would say some of the guys that I've seen, you Mitch Cradle, local DMV, you have Anthony Commodore. These are folks that got in it. They may not be doing what I'm doing, or I may not be doing what they're doing, but they've been in it, right? So they've taken the steps. I've worked on some of those productions, and I've learned from some of those folks, right? So I think there's a little bit that you pick up from just about everybody that you meet at some point, if they're serious about what they're doing. But some of the other actors, Anthony Grant, Tony Grant, Tyler Perry guy, I've worked with him. Their work ethics are different. They're a little more serious about what they're doing. There's a gentleman, I think his last name is Mitchell, Sir Wade Mitchell. He is I actually did background work for him. This is funny, it's like a circle. I did background work on one of his films. I came in as a background extra, but it became a feature, my daughter and I. And years later, I got him as one of the guests on my show, television show. So it was like some big circle, man, right? But the beauty with that is, when I was just a background extra, I thought I was so small, and that they were all up here. And the immediate mindset is, okay, you can't see yourself at that same level because we don't know what the future holds. But you got to kind of like you have to have your vision and go for it. Can't nobody stop you but you.
That's it. Can't nobody stop you but you. I'm telling you, preaching today. I got to send you 2 offerings now. You listen. Yo.
Get my cash out. Yeah, man. You gotta enjoy this time, man. Don't be so serious about stuff. Be serious because there's a lot going on, but dream.
So let me ask you this. We have some phenomenal actresses in our race and amongst Black folks. Give me 3 actresses that you would hands down would love to work with.
Definitely Miss Henson. What is it? Shari Henson? That she would be just.
Shari B. Henson.
She would just definitely be one of them. I would actually. I would love to work with, even though she's a little aged, Cicely Tyson. Because I think.
Come on, sis.
I think she has just so much depth to her.
She does.
I would love to work with Oprah. Oprah, I may not agree with everything that she does or whatever, but from a creative side and then from a business side, she have a lot to offer. I would love to sit under some of them as, some of them as a student to learn some of the things to enhance what I have. Yeah, but it's a lot out there, a lot of them out there, but those would probably be the big ones that I would immediately. I wouldn't even have to audition them.
Listen, who you telling? Cicely Tyson? Listen. Listen. And Oprah, on a actress standpoint, she's phenomenal. One of my favorite lines, the butler, you know what I'm saying? Everything you have is because of that butler. You know what I'm saying? Oprah's a beast. Like I said, we ain't got to agree on everything, but she does what she does when she's on that camera. All right, 3 actors.
3 actors. That's easy. Yeah, Morgan Freeman. I would love to work with Denzel. Let's see. I'm trying to get it beyond the African American. It's so just huge. I see. But see, looking at you, I already figured that we're going to work together anyhow. So that's okay. How about this one guy? Really, really talented guy. I think his name is what is it? It's like Barry Alston or something like that.
Oh, I think I heard of him.
Oh boy! But no, man, it's actually there's so many out there. It's hard to narrow down. I would hate to have a lot of those folks audition and have to make the decision as to which one to pick, which one not to pick.
I tell you.
I would love to have a budget offer it to them, though.
I believe that you're gonna have it.
Brother, let me tell you something. I had one guy when I was making one of the films. I'd reached out to him. Just took a chance. Reached out to him on Facebook, as a matter of fact, and pitched my script to him. Let him read it. He fell in love with the script. Said, "Yeah, brother, I want to be a part of this. Go ahead and talk to my agent." All right. I knew when I had to talk to his agent, that changed things just a little bit because I knew what my budget was, right? Mm-hmm. And his agent was like, "Oh yeah, he is SAG. You're gonna have to pay him at least $40,000-$50,000." I said, "Oh well, a budget for the project is $40,000." So I said, "Thank him for taking the time to consider my script and all of that, and wish him well." So I get a call like a couple days later. "Hey, Kaysa, man, brother, I know you spoke to my agent and all that, but listen, I'm really crazy about this story, man, and I want to be a part of it. So what can we do to make this happen?" Anyhow, long story short, it was probably about $3,000 that I got him for, right? And took it, and then had his wife as a bonus, and they both worked their butt off, talented to death. So you gotta take chances. Gotta take a
chance.
Yeah.
I shared this when I did the video. When I started the video with Jadakiss and Rick Ross, "Kisses to the Sky." I was actually booked on another show. And one thing, I work to be a man of my word. So if I agree, then people hit me up later. I usually stick with what I've already done. Yeah. So I was wrestling with this thing. And thank God, for following the leading. I canceled with the show I was on and then 3 million plus views later, and then, it was crazy. But yeah, wow. I get it. Yeah. So I get it, man. So what can we expect from Ka? I know we got Z coming. What else can we expect?
So actually, about a couple of weeks ago, I had interviewed through Zoom. With a couple companies that were looking for a full service production company to provide those services for their production company. And I won the contract, or I won that. They decided that they wanted me to be the person, my company to be the one to take that. And they have projects all the way up, probably about the next 5 years. So we're gonna start that pretty soon, probably in August or October. So yeah, I'm gonna probably. I got projects that I was gonna produce myself. But I think they already got full funding and all of that, and they're ready to go. So I'm ready to go with them. So that's the next.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Some extra opportunities.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So so that's what's next. And then I'll. It's kind of interesting. You take a movie, you take a book, and you turn it into a movie. But some of the movies that I've written and produced, I think I kind of want to make them books also. So that's another thing I'll probably end up doing down the line, just to add that to it. Yep. So
gotcha.
Yep. And then we're going to kick off season 2 for the Spotlight television show that I have. Probably when it opens up. Yep.
Okay. Tell the people how they can follow you.
How can you follow Ka Coleman or Ka Entertainment? You can do it. You can Google me. Ka Coleman, that's Kazarr Coleman, or Ka Entertainment. You can find me on any of the social media platforms. You can email me, kazarcoleman@gmail.com. Yeah, that's how you get it.
Great.
Or you can find me on the link on your show.
You can find them right here on Locked In, you heard? Man, I appreciate you. I thank you for stopping by, hanging out with us, and we definitely gonna have you back when these projects get ready to be released. We definitely want to, put it in front of the people and make sure they support. I appreciate you. I look forward to the future. I look forward to working with you in the near future. Yo, people, Ka Coleman, go follow him. Yo, go support him. Get everything he got on the market. I tell you, he will not disappoint you. Yo, check this out. I appreciate you tuning in again with me on another Wednesday night for an episode of Locked In. And guess what? Y'all just been locked in. Until the next one, peace.